Hey guys, this is Sean here with my very first ever StarCraft 2 live cast. So this is going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be on GSL dual site between a friend of mine, PengWin, and his friend Kramen. His friend Thomas, who is definitely a guy he has played with very often. These two training together a lot, trying to get better at the game. PengWin just started streaming. I'm going to link his stream in the video info. I hope you guys do get a chance to go check that out because it is really good stuff and very entertaining. I am on there with my shenanigans, a little less manner than I am in these replays. So, yeah. These two going to start out spawning here on GSL dual site. At least I think that is, yeah, it's dual site. Yeah, going to be spawning in the 8 o'clock position is the Zerg, and spawning in the 2 o'clock position is the Protoss. I am just trolling you guys here. This is actually a 2-spawn map, of course. So I'm just a silly boy. Now that's going to be broadcast on the internet. That's fantastic. This is why I haven't done live casts yet, because I'm not very good at this casting thing. I am going to upload this definitely, even if I don't upload all the casts that I've done up until now. I've done a lot of casts. I've only uploaded one of them so far, but I'm definitely going to upload this because my friend said, please do, absolutely. And so I will do that as a personal favor to him. I'm just going to check Audacity to make sure I'm on the right microphone. That is true. Okay, there we go. And we are a go here. Got the standard pylon a little bit close here. I don't know if I like that. I like the pylon being just far enough away, because otherwise you feel really crowded here, and sometimes I think the roaches can range the pylon. I think the roaches would be able to hit that through the wall. So I like to have the pylon out of range, and of course for obvious reasons. But yeah. Gonna be pretty standard. This is gonna be a lot more casual a cast. I might troll a little, joke around a little, so don't be alarmed if I do drop the occasional satirical or sarcastic remark against one of these guys. That said, apparently I'm in a business meeting, the way I'm sort of prefacing that. Yeah, this drone just gonna be a little bit of a nuisance in his main. Not the best engagement for his drone here. Oh my goodness, gonna go for a fast hatchery. I totally missed out on my minimap. Looks like a 14 hatch if I am not mistaken, with a 16 pool. Not going to get that gas, of course. Gonna get that gas a little bit later, just to be able to fund that 15 hatch, 16 pool. Meanwhile, Kramen going for a very standard opening, no shenanigans, gonna chrono boost out that zealot. Don't know why he would do that. Again, this is sort of like, there are certain things that you just get accustomed to doing in a game, because you're not used to that early expansion. But with the early expansion, of course, I hope if Kramen watches this cast, he realizes, wait a second, I didn't need to, if he watches this replay, he realizes, wait a second, I didn't need to chrono boost out a zealot when my opponent has a 16 pool going down after a 14 hatch. Definitely not going to have to deal with that early aggression. No reason to waste that chrono boost. Instead, better use it on that warp gate tech, which is rather late as of this point. I don't know why he doesn't have the gas for it by now. Now I see why, because I was like right here, and of course when I have that non-clicked, I can't see the Twilight Council, which is just going up. Are we going to see DTs? I do not know why he would possibly make that fast a Twilight Council delay Warp Gate if he was going for just like simple blink. Definitely going to get that second gas. I don't know why he didn't drop the second gas the moment the drone left the base. But of course, this is Gold League. Anything could happen. Not exactly the place where you want to have perfect timings and all of that good jazz. Really just want to try out your strategy and tweak it from there. Getting blink. Not gonna go for the Dark Shrine. So yeah, honestly, like I would say that's a fairly pointless sort of sequence there. Much better to get that. Late blink. No sense in having blink for a single or 2 or 3 stalkers. Best to get blink when you have a lot more stalkers. Unless he's going to be going for a really fast harass. But at the same time, it's kind of counterproductive because you're sacrificing so much early game economy that you're not going to have as many stalkers as you could have, and at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to do any effective harass until the mid game anyway. So I really don't see why you would get that really fast Twilight Council. That said, of course, these two players are definitely better than I am, so I will allow them to do what they feel is best. Check out the best course of action, and gonna chrono boost out the rest of that blink. Let's see if he goes for a bit of aggression. Again, I really don't see the point in having blink if you're just gonna use it defensively, especially in the early game. Maybe in the mid game it's useful against Muta harass, but a player who seldom gets that ridiculously early lair, which would basically put you on 1 base Muta. Especially when you scout the early hatch and the no gas, like there's no reason to expect early Muta play. So again, I hate to be ripping into a guy that I don't really know. I don't really know Kramen. I mean, he's definitely better than me because he's, you know, top 8 gold level and I'm a silver scrub. But yeah, so he is going to go for that aggression. So good decision from him, even if it means taking a little damage from the spine crawlers. Doing some good blink micro to keep all of his stalkers alive, but he's just not going to be able to break it. Is he going to take the queen? He is going to be able to take out the queen, and definitely going to clean up these stalkers. Great saving of the stalkers, maximizing the utility of them. But it feels like with that blink micro, he is sort of backing himself into a corner here. No, he is going to be able to get out perfectly alive with those stalkers. Let's just check out the tech. Not going for the Spire quite yet. I don't know if he is going to. Kramen, PengWin, I was just talking to PengWin, and he was saying that Kramen is not very good at dealing with mutas, and I think maybe that would be a point that they want to practice a little more. Double Evo Chamber going down, so it looks like he's not going to be going for a horribly fast, horribly concentrated Muta play, of course. Evolution Chambers not being very useful against Mutas. That said, really anything could happen. We got the Overlords on the perimeter, not really doing very much. I don't know why I decided to talk about those. Didn't have very much to talk about. So, going to make an Wait, what's he making? Making a couple of roaches just to fortify his already okay roach army. Probably wants a slightly bigger army just to defend that 3rd expansion if push comes to shove. These blink stalkers and 2 sentries. 2 sentries can be incredibly annoying. Make all the difference in a blink stalker play. Very good right here. You can move into the natural. If you can pick off this spine crawler, if you can pick off all of these spine crawlers, or just these 2 spine crawlers really, you can move back here, force field that ramp, and really take out all of the drones in this natural. And it takes forever for those spine crawlers to adjust. And roaches, of course, are terrible at handling blink stalkers plus sentries if you do micro your sentries well. Yeah, so Kramen looks like he's just going to warp in some new stalkers, get another gateway. Very standard play from... going to be opting for the Robo Bay. Let's see if he has Robo Facility. I'm sorry, I hate it when other people do that. He does have an Observer out, headed towards his base, getting that Immortal. Immortals giving you that little bit of extra edge versus roaches, even if he outproduces you, which is definitely a possibility with 75-25 roaches versus 125-50 stalkers. Simply by sheer numbers, if he chooses, he can just produce so many roaches while you're trying to get all those fancy blink stuff that it is possible that he'll outnumber you. But with that Immortal backing up the Stalker army, the Stalker's effectiveness versus roaches, which is already really high one-on-one. Stalker always beats a roach, but with that Immortal, it just becomes totally one-sided, any Stalker roach engagement. That said, going to warp in some more stalkers. Not going to get that second immortal. That second immortal not exactly as useful. Of course, immortals really great for against roaches. Good against hydras too, unless outnumbered like in sheer numbers. Not too great against low DPS units, low damage units like Zerglings. So of course you're not gonna really want that many immortals against a roach heavy play. Just that one roach plus stalkers really it protects your sentries, I think. And now that immortal kind of come back, he's gonna try and regroup. And PengWin going to move back to his spine crawlers, which are his line of defense. Going to pick off a couple of stalkers. Very good focus fire there from PengWin. Certainly a good decision. Makes all the difference in the final engagement, because that's a 250 minerals and 100 gas. That is an entire immortal. Immortal's worth in money going down. But is PengWin? PengWin's not going to be able to snipe this third. The sheer number of roaches going to overwhelm, and great focus firing from PengWin. So it looks like taking down those preliminary stalkers really did help make this an easy defense. Definitely going to be perfectly safe with this mass roach army. And it looks like with quite a bit of trust fund building up for these players. Of course, PengWin having an excuse for it. He is mining from the gold. He does have 4 mining bases as of right now. So, like, there's no reason he shouldn't have really high money. Meanwhile, Kramen really struggling in his macro, trying to micro his stalkers. But I don't know if that blink micro has been worth it, because his money is getting so high. And it looks like he could have built so many gateways in that time and been ready to warp in more stalkers instead of trying to micro his stalkers. Instead, just pulling them straight back to his main, maybe putting up a cannon, putting up a couple gateways, and just keeping that defense going in his base. Meanwhile, PengWin really exerting some great control, really great expansion management, managing his bases really well, defending his bases really well, and his roaches never overcommitting, just poking, prodding, taking out 1 or 2 units, and never losing too many units to Kramen's now stunted stalker count. That second immortal will be useful. Of course, the 6 range on the immortal, the increase from 5 to 6, definitely great. Now immortals can't get outranged by stalkers. Now the engagement, can these immortals make the difference? It looks like the burrow going to go down, and PengWin going to stay safe. He's going to pick off a couple more stalkers and burrow again. Good burrow micro without the tunning claws from PengWin. Definitely, not definitely, but possibly saved quite a few of his roaches from that immortal army. That immortal buff from patch 1.4 is very, very, very useful against these roaches, especially if your stalkers are outnumbered, because it means that if you can move your stalkers in basically to melee range and force the direct engagement, force the roaches to decide whether or not to attack the stalkers or the immortals, and also make sure that only the frontline roaches can attack the immortals. It really makes all the difference, because the immortals can fire back, whittle down that roach count, while the roaches are not able to do the same because of the stalkers attacking them, and it really provides that DPS increase, much like the Hydra army that you like to have, except with 7 range and a little bit weaker as far as armor goes. But anyway, enough about that. We are on to more important things. Looks like the gold got picked off. I was not looking at my minimap. Bit of a caster blunder there. Finally managing to get a little bit of economic payback. But now the Ultra is going to roll in, and the Blink Micro, great, but it's not going to be enough because the Ultras are not tanking. A bit of a micro mishap from PengWin. Really want to send those Ultras in first, tank the damage, and have the Roaches doing the damage. But it looks like he'll be able to clean it up nonetheless. But I feel like PengWin lost a lot more roaches than he had to, especially with so many ultras. have the ultras melee down the immortals and the stalkers. Very, very good against those ranged units. Not quite as effective against the immortals, of course, with the immortals reducing whatever damage is done to them to 10, unless the damage is already less than 10. So I would say that PengWin definitely came out ahead in that engagement, but it was definitely a lot more inefficient than you would ideally want PengWin to trade for. He could have kept a lot more roaches. Is the bottom line. And as far as losing Ultralisks, that's the job of the Ultralisks, is to tank damage, and they really don't do enough. They don't do enough damage at point blank range to justify having kept them in the back, allowing the roaches to take the damage when the roaches are the main damage dealers. So yeah, I think I've said damage so many times. So I am just going to replace damage with some random word, and by simply taking the fact that I've said such a word out of context, you'll be able to infer that I meant damage, simply because I'm sick of saying damage, even though I keep saying it now, talking about how sick of saying it I am. Sorry, it's very uneventful right now. This Ultralisk Roach army just going to be hanging out here, protecting that rebuilding gold. Still plenty of minerals to mine here, so why expand anywhere else when you've got this Ultra Roach army to protect yourself? And now the Stalker's going to be dealing a lot of cookies. The Ultralisk still not getting that tank sort of formation going, and losing quite a few roaches, but at the same time taking out so many Ultralisks, it's not going to matter. I expect we're going to see a GGE pretty soon, even though these two Voiders are there to clean up the attack. They may be able to clean up the attack, but at the same time, these are so many roaches, and I assume we are seeing a Hydra Den going down or something pretty soon. A triple Evo chamber. That is quite interesting. Too late on air, says Kramen, and he GG's and leaves the game. And that is going to do it. I'm just going to stay in this game a while and just point this out. Stefan, if you're watching this, really? I mean, I suppose if you wanted to get range, I probably got range, but I feel like that placing a little much. Sorry, Ventrilo's a little bit annoying there. I feel like that evolution chamber was a little unnecessary. I don't really see the, especially considering how small of a role those Ultralisks played. I would have suggested, if he were to have asked me about it, just getting that chitinous plating, getting that melee attack upgrade after the 3/3 roaches were done. And I feel like that would have been better, freed up more money, but I guess if you have a saturated gold that is not in danger of being attacked, it is always okay to drop that, to drop those 75 minerals, even if you're not going to use the evolution chamber. But at the same time, there is that gas investment during the game. I feel like, I don't know, it's really up to, and that's really what you do at this sort of level of play, where you're getting better, you're improving, but you're not quite at that top level where you have to be perfecting builds. Is like you can tweak builds, play with them, see what's good, and definitely a creative use of triple Evo chamber. Not something you commonly see, but I don't know. I guess he won. So what wins you the game works. I guess that's the ultimate line. And so yeah, Kramen just GG's, and definitely good. Definitely a fun game to watch. Definitely a game, lots of fun to watch, lots of fun to cast. And so yeah, I will see you guys next time. Please do check out my friend's stream anytime you can. I will be on it with my usual shenanigans, and so will he. Yeah, I won't make this any more long-winded than it already has been. That was me. I am Sean signing out. I will see you guys next time.